The collapse of society will be dreadful. So, the economy has a lot of people furious. The job markets have a lot of people furious. It's not just Gen Z, it's also the millennials who are going, you know, getting really upset and saying that, hey, we worked very hard. We have nothing to show for it. But, for the most part, at least they continue to work and they continue to contribute to the economy. Granted, I'm well aware that, these companies are predatory, and we are now heading into a stage where it's not just the fact that people were, you know, doing remote work and not even a lot of people were even working during the events of 2020. It's more so that even after the events of 2020, in the face of all of this inflation, the money that people are making is now worth considerably less, 30 to 40% less or more than it was worth 4 or 5 years ago. And even back then it was hard enough. And now you look at things and it's like even crazier. For some of you guys, it's hard for you to relate because a lot of you are men who are, it's crazy, but you are men walking away. And that's the big difference between MWA and MGTOW. Men walking away have walked away from society. They've walked away from, what doesn't work for them. A lot of you guys, you don't buy McDonald's, you don't eat at restaurants, you cook all of your own meals, you live far below your means. So it's like, you're not worried about society. You're basically just sitting and watching it burn. On the other hand, there are men who are still engaged in this society, and for them it's hard because they feel like they've walked away, they've left with nothing, they have nothing, and they're very bitter about it. And the inflation is just has destroyed a lot of things, and it's continuing to destroy a lot of things. Guys, I wanted to order some McDonald's. I did not end up ordering McDonald's. I ordered Burger King because McDonald's was too damn expensive. I wanted some McDonald's French fries and maybe a cheeseburger. So I go to McDonald's on DoorDash. A McDouble, which used to be 99 cents, is $5.39, and a double cheeseburger is $5.59. So as you can see, it's 100% greatflation, where the only savings between a McDouble and a double cheeseburger is 20 cents. So either way, they're going to get you. It's crazy. Basically, like, it's now a luxury. And like, oh, you want some French fries? That's going to be $6. And it's like, oh, okay, well, how about I'll order a combo, so maybe a Big Mac meal. Oh, sure, sure, sure. That's $13 for a medium, right? For a medium, no, I'd like a large. Oh, sure, sure. That's $15 then. And that's not counting delivery or taxes. Oh, with delivery and taxes, that will be 27 dollars. And would you like priority delivery, or because with priority you'll get your food before priority. So in other words, you're the first stop along the way. And basically that just means, like, instead of, you'll actually get your meal possibly in 10 to 25 minutes, versus us saying that you'll get it in 10 to 25 minutes, and then ends up taking an hour because your delivery has been delayed or your driver has stops along the way, which is what they end up doing. So it's like, oh, they say 10 to 25, even if it's not priority, and then it still ends up taking like an hour. It always gets delayed. So, and even with priority, like, these guys know how to scheme and scam you. So, for example, you'll pay for priority $3.99 for priority delivery, and then they'll just pick up a DoorDash order. So they'll go and drop off the DoorDash, and your order will still end up getting delayed and still end up taking like 45 minutes. It's crazy. It's crazy. So a Big Mac meal, a large Big Mac meal delivered with priority delivery. That's only from McDonald's. That's like 3 blocks down the road, like literally 3 blocks down the road. That's $30. $30 for a Big Mac, a large fries, and a large drink. That's not even that large. $30 delivered. 30, and that does not include tip. Like, you've got to be kidding. Like, how the hell do you have the tenacity to ask me for a tip to deliver a tiny meal to me, right, for $30, and then ask me for a tip, and then tell me it's a luxury? You're damn right it's a luxury. You're damn right it's a luxury. But it's funny. It's funny. A lot of you guys, like I said, you don't even order from this. You don't even order. 'Cause the collapse of society is going to be absolutely dreadful. It's going to be absolutely dreadful. And millennials, there are some millennials who are pissed off, and now they're coming at me with this energy. Zennial years are basically 1977 through 1983. So I was born in 83, so I'm the last of Gen X in that respect. And I have a guy here who's a millennial. He's 1984. So he's a year older than me. He falls just a year out of it. And you can see just like the difference in perspective right there. He goes, I'm a millennial. I'm about the same age as you. Well, I just turned 40. I was a hard worker. A really hard worker. Worked hard in construction and pretty much the toughest job society has. And even I know Gen Z has no reason to work. Y'all say they're lazy, but WTF is there? What WTF is there for them to be motivated to work for? You know what? All my hard work got me a life of pain, being disabled to the point I struggled to stand up and wash my dishes. I'm sure people should be lining up to do that for pennies. Get married, have a family, buy a house. I effing built houses for other people and can't buy one. Oh, we should all become CEOs, right? Then who's going to build homes? Do you guys like electricity? Uh, as if people like you ever appreciated the people who work on the very infrastructure of the world you inhabit. Oh, God. You look down on us? What the living hell? So don't lecture a tone on hard work. I doubt you know a whole lot about it. And pretending this is some sort of uh, meritocracy where hard work and being good at your job actually means anything is just laughable, is just laughably out of touch. You have no clue. Stick to talking about womens. And I don't even like Gen Z, but they're not wrong. Their future was stolen by the boomers. Oh, God. Oh, boy. You know what you need? Is a Jesus Christ. You know what you need is a horrible, humbling moment like that million, like that millionaire who tried to go homeless to become a millionaire in a year, in a year, but then had to stop because being poor was too hard. But even after that experience, he didn't learn. He didn't learn any. Oh, God. Oh, God. But even after that experience, he didn't learn. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, my. But even after that experience, he didn't learn anything. I'm sorry. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying. I'm trying. I almost got past it. But even after that experience, he didn't learn anything, and neither will you. Oh, and neither will these boomers who are unfortunate. Jesus help us. And neither will you, and neither will these boomers who are unfortunately still around. Oh my God. So here's the thing, guys. Those of you that have been following me for almost 10 years know that I was actually homeless for 8 months while working on my first master's. And I powered through that. I slept on the streets. I I wrote my thesis at the library. I had finished my coursework, but I had to I had to write a thesis and present it, you know, like just like a dissertation. I had to do all of that. And that was then published in the Library of Congress. It was hard work. It was really, really hard work. And I had to push through that and grind through that. And then immediately after presenting my thesis, the day I presented my thesis was also the day that I finally moved into a new place. This is insane. And while homeless, I had to go take whatever money I had, shop for clothing, decent clothing, so that I could go and present this thing. Like you people, like people don't know what I passed through. And then I had to go find a way to go to and then I had to go to graduation. And then after I completed my thesis, I then got accepted into another graduate program and had to go straight into that graduate program after completed just graduating from this graduate program. I'm just like it was like insane. And I remember talking to my advisor. She was so crazy. She was so cool. And I was like, I just finished this program and I'm supposed to go into another graduate. And I was like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. And she calmed me down because I wanted to drop out, and she calmed me down. And I fought through it, and I finished it in like maybe a year or less. I literally went into the next graduate program and earned a second master's in like 1 year or less. I nailed it because I had gone through so much and worked so hard on my first master's. It literally gave me the upper edge and I was able to kill it. And you know, I've worked hard in life. I've built a business. You know, I the first my first not my first job, but one of my jobs out of college, I got ripped off. I was working for a company and all they offered me was $30,000 a year. And the median for that position was starting for that position was at least 50,000. And they offered me absolute garbage, absolute crap. And it was such a hard job, and you had to have a bachelor's degree in business. It was madness just to go and get a job working for $30,000 in insurance. And then after working at the company for 2 years, what did they offer me? They offered me something like a 15 cent. It was either a 10. What was it? No. It was a 10-cent raise. They offered me a 10-cent raise. 10 cents after working at that company for 2 years. They offered me a 10 cents raise. I want you guys to understand that. And they were like, this is good. This is good. You know, your performance has been good enough for you to earn a raise. We're giving you a 10 cents raise. Doing a job where I'm handling accounts that sometimes exceed $100 million. And after that experience, it made me, I could, like, that job was so hard. People doing that job were constantly breaking down. And I got screwed. And then I basically decided I was going to go back to school. And guys, I've been through the ringer. Eventually I decided that, you know what, I don't want to work for anyone anymore. And I realized if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to build something for myself. And that's when I began learning that I can leverage my skills. I can take the things that I've learned and I can share that knowledge with others. And because of the research that I had done and learning how to write papers and write a thesis and present and do extensive amounts of research and citations and all of that, I was able to create courses for you guys. Because of my background in business as well as in science, I was able to do a lot of these things rapidly for you guys because of those skill sets. And that's why I'm able to work with you guys now, do private consultations, because I didn't give up. But I had to build all of these things. I had to learn how to form a business. I had to learn how to start an LLC. I had to learn how to do these things. I got sick 4 years ago. Many of you guys know how I got sick 4 years ago. And I was literally between here and the next world. Like, my doctor, when they finally figured out what was wrong with me, he goes, I think you're the worst condition I've ever seen. Okay? Like that's how bad I was for years. For years. Where am I? I'm here working now. As soon as I started to feel even a little better, before I even got my diagnosis, I was already working, putting out content for you guys, rebuilding. Before I even started getting proper treatment, before they even gave figured out what was wrong with me, and I started to get better because I was like, nah, I can't sit on my butt anymore. I got to get to work, and I would just literally suffer through it. This is Gen X. This is the Gen X experience. And of course, there's some Gen Xers who are wishy washy and they're going to complain, but most Gen Xers know what I'm talking about. You know, do Gen X do some Gen Xers want Social Security? Of course they do because they paid into it. Most Gen Xers are like, okay, just give me back what I paid into it, and let the boomers worry about the rest because they know that they're never going to get what they're owed, right? So they're just hoping that they would just love to get the tons of money they paid into it, and that's not going to happen for them either. It was a big Ponzi scheme. It was a big Ponzi scheme, one of the biggest Ponzi schemes known to man. But the thing is with Gen X is just basically if they don't get what's owed to them, they're just gonna shrug their shoulders and walk away. This is what Gen X has always done, you know? Like this guy, this millennial, he's here crying his eyes out. Oh, woe is me. Look how hard my life is. I didn't get what I deserved. Welcome to the real world. This is a crap world. This is society. People are dishonest. You're a grown man. I had to learn these things the hard way. Your coworkers are not your friends. Your boss, your company, they don't care about you. All right? They give you a paycheck, you give them labor, and then you're done. They'll try to convince you and to make you believe that they care about you. They don't. They'll get you're disposable to them. And you have to understand that the only person that will advocate for you is yourself. I'm not saying that things aren't hard for Gen Z, but you have to understand there's a big difference between Gen Z and other generations that came before them. Gen Z does not actually want to work. And it's not a matter, saying something like, okay, well, if I was being paid fairly, then I would want to work. Regardless of Gen Z being paid fairly or not, Gen Z doesn't want to work. Gen Z are looking for what they call lazy girl jobs right now. They want to live soft lives. They want easy lives. They believe that no one should have to work for a living and everyone should have a universal high income. And instead, they should be able to spend their time, being influencers and not competing for money, but instead competing for attention. I acknowledge entirely what happened to the millennials. I empathize for this individual. But the thing is that it's like he doesn't understand. And it's hard to talk to these people because, they're no one cares. And then on top of it, you're a man. No one cares about you, bro. Like this is the truth. It's a hard reality. Women live, in this bubble because they think that the government actually cares about them. But the value of a woman to the government is only as good as her ability to extract wealth and resources from men and then reallocate those funds to the government. If she's not able to do that, then her value to the state decreases. That's the honest to goodness truth. Most women today are living off the simp economy, using men to supplement their lifestyle, pay their bills. They have another guy lined up before they even end the relationship, and they're already working through the relationship, working their way towards the end of the relationship, having another dude lined up before the relationship ends. This is how women think, and men don't want to understand that. This entire world, everything is very, very flimsy. It's all very, very flimsy. It's just imaginary. Our laws are imaginary. They are only as real as we make them and our willingness to enforce them. And as you can see, they're not distributed equally. All right? Because some people have special privileges while others have special punishments. The thing is that Gen X understood this. Gen X understood life better than most people, that life was not fair. And you do the best with what you have. Okay? Oh, the world. So, I mean, like this guy, his attitude is like, well, everything is horrible. The boomers are crooks. Let's burn it all down. Do you understand what it looks like when a society is torn down, torn to shreds? You understand the living hell? And you think that, oh well, it'll all end quickly, but no, it won't. It doesn't end quickly. You can go on for years suffering before it even comes to an end. You can even go on for decades suffering. But hey, at least the boomers are getting what's coming to them, and the truth is, a lot of them won't, because they'll fight. A lot of them are doing well enough, so these are people who knew how to, you know, they knew how to steal. They knew how to steal. So they'll continue doing what they've always done. All right. I said this before, and I'll say it again. They were here before us, and they will be here after us. That's just kind of how the boomers are. Focusing on them and worrying about them and complaining about them, it doesn't do anything. It's not to say that these people are not guilty, but focusing on them, it does nothing for you. This guy's crying about his back and his condition. He's acting like I've lived this big privileged life. No, I've lived a hard life, but there are people who've lived harder lives than me. It's like you don't listen to the videos. You gloss over the things that I've described, that my childhood, everything. Okay, the things I've passed through, you don't care. These people just don't care. you know? And then a lot of times I'll have Gen Xers pop up and tell me, "Oh wow, man, you had all of that." Like I'll talk about how horrible my childhood was, and they'll tell me how awesome that was, because they'll share with me just how, they're like, "Wow, man, you were able to cook. You were able to cook when you were 5. You were home alone and able to cook. Nah, bro, congrats, man. I wasn't able to even use the stove, so it was just basically me and the wall. It was just basically me and the wall. When I was growing up, a lot of my toys, came from my boomer father. I'm going to admit this to you, was such a cheapskate that he used to go to the trash and pick up the toys that other people that would throw out, broken toys or whatever, bring them in and tell my mother to clean them up and tell us those are your toys now. He would go to the trash, pick up. My father was making in 1992, 1993, he was making about $60,000. My father had money. He was buying nice cars. He was involved in his Ponzi schemes. He was doing very well in life. My mother also had money coming in, from family. I had a wealthy uncle. They were living good. I never even knew that she was getting money like that. She also then started working, in the medical field. My parents had cash, and they used to refer to themselves as poor people. My parents were middle class, middle class, but the boomers were stingy. The boomers were very, very stingy. After all the suffering that I've gone through, because of my illness, I now have headlines. I never had headlines. I now have headlines, you know, because of and they're getting worse because of all the stress in my life, and I just have to keep on moving. I don't know what these people think this is. Like, it's like you expect to have an easy life. I get it. This guy's back is destroyed now. His life, he's having extreme hardships because he worked in construction. Guess what? No one forced you to work in construction. No one forced you to go down that path. And I understand how messed up it is. Like, you did this, you thought that you were going to have a better life. Guess what? No one's going to be there to bail you out. No one cares. Well, better it all burn down. This is the attitude of these people. Like, it's so childish. It's insane. Like, this guy, do you guys see why I get frustrated? Like, this guy's here cussing me out, cussing me, cussing me out, and and he's so resentful towards the boomers, and he's celebrating Gen Z's degeneracy. Best it all burn down, and the boomers get what they get what's coming. Like, bro, it's just crazy. These people are not fit to lead society. This is why Gen Z, if anyone is going to save society, it'll have to be Gen X from the shadows, you know, because they're the last generation of reasonable people, or that has people in the generation that are reasonable. You know, I'd say that at least half of Gen X are decent people. You know, and it's unfortunate, because here's the thing: you can get pissed off with me and get furious and act like I'm sitting on a life of luxury, but I'm an adult. This is what separates us. I'm an adult. I have to take accountability and responsibility for my life, even the things that people have done to me. It's like it's not my fault, but regardless, it's my problem. It's my life to fix. This is how life is. People have done horrible things to you. Guess what? Still your problem. I know it's hard, but I've learned the hard way. Sitting around just being resentful doesn't get you anywhere. The best you can really do is just put those people out of your life as best you can, and walk away on your own terms. This guy right here, instead of him crying, he's like, "Oh, telling everyone to go become a CEO." You don't want to work for someone else? Then you're gonna have to figure it out. Learn new skills. Okay? You used to build houses. How can you leverage those skill sets? What did you learn? How can you create value for other men? Like this is some really entitled thinking that the world owes you something. World doesn't owe you anything. Yes, you were lied to by society. The social contract was broken. You were told that, you do this and you provide labor and you'll get a wife, and a white picket fence, and you'll be able to live the good life in your golden years. And it was all the total lies, and the boomers robbed everyone, and they'll never take any accountability for what they've done. A few of them will admit to it, many of them won't, and even the ones who do take some accountability won't completely take accountability. And then even then, most of the ones who are actually admitting to anything are the youngest of the boomers, while most of the older boomers are just basically living their best lives. All right, at least the ones who aren't homeless. I mean, or are in deep poverty. It's Guys, it's life's all. I've said this already. Like, for most people, life is never going to be peaceful. There will just be moments of peace, and that's the honest to goodness truth. It's easy to get angry at me and lash out at me, but the reality of the matter is that tearing down your own house isn't going to solve problems. Sitting there and saying that I'm just going to watch it all burn, go for it. But if you're not securing your money, if you're not securing something for yourself, if you're not working towards survival, and you're just pissed off, then guess what? You're going to end up homeless, or living very, very difficult, or trying to live off the state. And that's really a hard thing to do indefinitely. And you could sit there and blame everyone. Like, it's like when you are extremely hungry, come on, man. And this guy is in this condition, can barely wash dishes, and he's out here running his mouth. If I was in his position, I'd be grinding even harder. I'd be scared. Okay, I'm disabled. Oh my goodness, I'm disabled, and I have to survive. Okay, well, I need to figure out what I can do right now. Okay, I need to use. But here's the thing: because he worked in construction, it suggests that he didn't develop a lot of other skill sets, and that might be the truth. All right, just like I had to develop research skills, I had to be flexible. I had to have extraordinary amounts of technical skills. I have a lot of skill sets. The thing is, because of all of those skill sets, I'm able to do a lot, and I'm able to teach a lot, and I'm constantly learning, and I can share what I've learned with others, who can then take the thing, learn from me, and start their own business. They can start and try to build something for themselves. All right, I can't do it for you, but I can help guide you. But everyone wants everything handed to them, and I don't get it, because people are now getting old, and they were lied to, because they were promised things that they didn't get. It's like you want to lash out at everyone, and you want to lash out at me. You don't know what my life is. And at the end of the day, I can't sit here and cry, woe is me, because there's a lot of Gen Xers who had it worst. It's just not a Gen X thing to cry like a bro. You just kind of have to roll with the punches. And trust me, I was like you. I was 100% like you. But after just getting to really understand the boomers, getting to be this age, seeing a 70-year-old man blaming his parents for, like, the way for the things that the boomers have done, that his generation have done, you realize that you're just dealing with a bunch of jokers, and you learn to move on. Either you're gonna survive or you're not gonna survive, man. Like, that's the reality. Don't forget that I have another channel called Men Walking Away where I release daily videos. If you're enjoying the content on this channel, you want even more of this content, you can head over to the Men Walking Away channel. It's linked in the description of the video. What do you guys think regarding all of this? The collapse of society will be dreadful. Let me know your thoughts and we'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA Men Walking Away. And cheers.